Yeah,
Mr.
I loved her.
Mr. Baruch, did Ms. Hurd ever visit you in your penthouse?
Yeah.
Do you recall the first time that she visited you there?
Yes.
When was that?
The first time is that it's in March when they moved in, and they were there for a couple of days, and I didn't even know. And Johnny had called me, says, "Hey, come over, meet my girl," and so I did. And then the next day, they came over to my place for the first time to see how I had set up the art studio, lights, and just what's my painting set up and stuff, and to look at other paintings. And they walked in, and I remember the first thing she said was, "I hope we didn't keep you up last night because of all the yelling." And I looked at her and I says, "No, these walls are like 3 feet thick. I don't hear diddly squat."
How did she seem when she said that to you?
Well, she's semi-joking and inquisitive, like they did, to find out.
In your 3.5 years living at the Eastern Columbia building, did you have opportunities to observe Mr. Depp's and Ms. Hurd's relationship?
Yeah.
Can you describe what you observed about their relationship?
They were always loving with each other. They treated each other like gold, kissing and what can I get you type of thing, being kind with each other. Always loving, always a loving situation.
How often would you say you interacted with Mr. Depp and Ms. Hurd?
If they were there, because they're traveling, they're working and doing stuff. If they were there, I saw them maybe 2-3 times a week. Maybe there might be one time a week that I see them, that I go over to hang out or, see them. Or they might come, or Johnny might come over to visit, or, like that.
Since you've known them, did you ever see them get physically violent with each other?
Never.
Did you ever see them argue?
Yes.
How many times?
Probably like twice.
Okay. Can you describe the arguments that you witnessed?
The first argument that I remember was walking in. It was a telephone argument. Johnny's at the kitchen table and he's screaming about something, and on the other line, because it's on speaker, and he's talking with the phone at the phone. The other person is Amber, and that she's in New York, and he's at the kitchen table, and they're arguing, and he's going, "Who is it? Who is it?" And she's saying, "Oh, baby, come on, please don't. What are you doing, baby? Why are you being like this, baby?" And this went on for a little while, and I'm listening, and then he hangs up. She calls back again, and it's the same thing. "Who is it? What's going on? Who is it?" And she's saying, "Oh, come on, baby, don't be. What are you doing, baby?" And then hang up the phone again. The third time it happens, I'm saying there's no solution in this conversation. I grabbed the phone from him and I says, "Hey, Amber, this is Isaac. Listen, this conversation is now over." And I hung up the phone. And she didn't call back again, and he went to the couch and went to bed.
I believe you said you saw them argue twice. Was there another time that you saw them argue?
I ended up going over, and there's at the kitchen table is Johnny, is Amber, is Rocky, and Josh. And and I'm going, "What are you guys doing?" And they're hanging out, and they're trying to plot to figure out a way how to get rid of Whitney, to not live there anymore. And I felt bad. I like Whitney. Says, "Oh, well, that's going to be a drag." And what are you plotting? How do you figure out? Hey, lend your sister some dough and let her move out. But they're trying to figure something out, something differently or whatever. At one point, so there was a point, Johnny got completely, flustered and frustrated, and he got up and he walks away. And as he's walking away, he says, figure it out. And that was it. That was the whole thing. I don't know if you want to call it, I don't think you might call that an argument, but.
Your Honor, I'm about to switch gears a little bit. It might be a good time for a mid-morning break.
Perfect, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and have you take your morning recess for 15 minutes, okay? Just remember to not talk to anybody and do not do any outside research, okay? And we'll see you back here in 15 minutes.
Do I
You
stand?
can stay right here, that's fine, you don't have to stand. Thank you. All right. Sir, I just want to remind you, since you're still on the stand under oath, you can't talk to any of the attorneys or Mr. Hurd at this time until your testimony is done, okay?
Okay.
All right, and we'll be back at 11:45, okay? All
I
right.
got to stay here the
Yeah,
whole
you have to stay
time?
there the whole time. You can move.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Your next question?
Mr. Baruch, were
We're
you
back.
still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for coming back.
Yes.
Were you still living in penthouse 2 of the Eastern Columbia building on May 21st, 2016?
Yes.
Do you recall what you were doing that evening?
Yes.
What were you doing?
I was out, it was evening time, I'm out in the neighborhood, and I'm on my way home. I get a phone call from my friend who wants to know if I want to go out and eat. I said I just ate, but I'm 5 minutes away from the Eastern Columbia building home, and go across the street, get something to eat, and bring it up for takeout, and we'll go upstairs to my joint and we'll eat. And yeah.
Did you meet your friend back at the Eastern Columbia building?
Yeah.
Around what time was that?
9:30.
What happened after you met your friend?
We went upstairs.
Can we pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 116 again, please? And Your Honor, given that this has already been admitted, I'd ask that it be published.
All right, that's fine. You can publish it. You just can't see it. It's not on this. Okay, you still have it?
Mr. Baruch, is it on the screen in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Mr. Baruch, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about what happened after you went upstairs that evening. And it may be helpful for you. There are controls on that screen that you can use to sort of mark the exhibit to show the jury the spots that you're talking about and identifying.
So if you just touch it, it'll make a mark. So you don't have to touch the top. That's fine.
Do I touch
No.
something on menu here?
Nope, you don't. Nope, just wait, and you can
Oh.
touch it whenever she needs you to mark it.
Just wherever I touch it, it's going to make a mark.
It will.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Baruch, when you got upstairs that evening with your friend around 9:30,
Yeah.
What did you see?
We got out of the elevator, and just like in the graph, you make a left and then you turn the corner. When we walked out, I noticed on the floor there's shards of glass. There's pieces of glass, and so I was just looking, going, oh, something busted. Could be one of the sconces or something like that, and kept walking.
Can you mark on the exhibit where you saw the broken glass that evening?
Yeah. Boom. Right there. Right where you could go left or you could go right. And if you wanted to go to the pool area, there's an exit that way. So you could either go right or you go left. You go left, you're in the apartment, going in the hallway through the apartment, or you go right there in that spot.
And did you continue on to your penthouse after you saw the broken glass?
Oh, yeah. So we walk around, and then we make the turn. We hang the right past penthouse 5, and we stop right in front of, right here.
Why did you stop right there?
Oh, stopped in front of here, penthouse 1, which is it's more right there, because there's this puddle of wine, huge puddle of wine on the floor that's in front of the door, and there's wine, the splashed wine that's dripping down the wall. And so we stopped, and I'm looking at it and going, look at this. Someone must have got hammered. These guys probably had a party. And at that point, right then, as soon as I said that, the door opens up, and it's Josh Drew, who pokes his head out the door, only enough for his head to come out. And he's pretty bug-eyed and looks distraught. And I look at him and I go, what's up with the spilt wine? And I'm figuring I'd get an explanation or whatever. And he says, he looked at me and just said, rough day, had a rough day. And at that point, I got concerned and said to him, because I'm friends with him, you know, I got concerned. I said, hey, you okay? You want me to help you with something? Do you need help? He said, no, it's okay. We got it. And I said, okay. And me and my buddy took off and went into my place.
And what did you do after that?
My buddy ate. I believe he had pizza from across the street, and we talked. We yapped for a while, and you know, could be I could yap, so it could, you know, it could take. We were there probably an hour and change or something like that, and then you know, we're done. So I walked him out and walked down, went to the elevator, walked out, went to the elevator. We went downstairs. I walked him out the door, finished the conversation that we were having. And I said, all right, see ya. And then I went back in. I went upstairs and I went to bed.
Around what time was that you went back into the Eastern Columbia building?
You know something, if we got there at like around 9:30 and we're talking, I don't know, an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know, somewhere around 11 o'clock, I would think.
We can go ahead and take Exhibit 116 down. Mr. Baruch, can you describe for the jury the events of the next day, May 22nd, 2016?
Yes. It's my birthday. May 22nd is my birthday. I wake up, I end up texting Johnny and saying, hey, I'm going to be in town, because he's not staying at the Eastern Columbia building. He's staying in a house in town, okay? And so I texted him, it's my birthday. I said, listen, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to come by and to have a birthday drink. Okay. I didn't hear from him, you know, I didn't get an answer back, but I said, that's what I'm doing. If that happens, that happens. But, so it was around noon time, so I left. I walked out of my apartment, and I go through the hallway, as you see the graph. I go through the hallway, and I turn the corner from Penthouse 3, and as I'm walking down, well, who do I see? I see a group of people. It's a guy in black clothes, a black shirt, black pants, Amber Heard, and I see Josh Drew, who's leaning up against the door, and the door is open. This door is open. Something's going on, and as I'm walking up, I'm saying, hey, what's up? What are you guys doing? And then Amber turns to me as I'm walking up. Amber turns to me, and she says, Johnny came by last night. He got violent, so I'm changing the locks on 1, 3, and 5. And I'm looking at her, and she goes, oh, and don't worry about 2. You're okay. And at this point, I'm now walking past. So now we're all in front of the open door of the apartment, and I see there's 2 guys, 2 locksmiths working on the door. So now I'm standing on one side, and you have Josh Drew on one side of the door. You got the two locksmiths with the door open, working on it. The sun's coming through the door, sunlight from windows. And then Amber is in front of me, and there's the security guy. And that we're 2 feet away from each other, talking. And she introduces me as she's finishing saying, "Oh, don't worry about your apartment." She says, "Oh, and this is a security guard that I got who's going to be hanging around." And I got introduced. She introduced me to him, and I shook his hand. He gave me a card, which I lost, and I'm kind of taking this in and going, and I said, "Wait, what happened? What's going on?" And at that point, Josh Drew looks at me and gives me the high sign to like, "Hey, follow me. I'll tell you in private." And
Mr. Rich, when you were speaking with Ms. Hurd, how close were you standing to her?
like I said, I'm 2 feet, a foot and a half, 2 feet away. We're all 2 feet.
And how was the lighting in that area?
There's lights in the hallway, but we're standing in an open doorway that the wall is all windows. Sunlight's coming through, and you could operate in this light. There's that much light.
Did you notice any marks on her face when you were speaking with her?
No.
Did you see any bruises?
No.
Did you see any redness?
No.
Did you notice any swelling?
No.
Did it look like Ms. Hurd was wearing any makeup?
No.
Had you seen her wearing makeup before?
Yeah.
And you had seen her not wearing makeup before?
Yeah, I seen, like I said, with the face mask, doing a face mask, no makeup, hanging around, waking up in the morning, no with makeup, glammed out to go out. And it's 3.5 years of seeing her in different forms.
Did you speak with Mr. Drew about anything at that point?
Well, yeah, after I said that, hey, what's going on? And he gave me the high sign to like, hey, follow him. We went into my apartment and had a conversation.
And what happened after you had that conversation with Mr. Drew?
We left the apartment and we go walking back towards penthouse 1. And as I'm walking back, I say to Amber, as I'm walking up, "He hit you?" And she goes, "Yeah, he threw a phone at me and hit me." And I'm looking, because I had just seen her 2 feet away, and I'm going, "Where?" And she puts her head out. She puts her face out like that for me to look at the right side of her face. And I'm looking, but at that point also, I'm looking, and I turn around, get on the other side. We're in the doorway. So I'm on this side, with the light shining this way from the doorway with the lights above, but the sunshine, and she's got her face out like this, looking, to show me, and I'm looking, and I inspect the face. I'm looking at her forehead, I'm looking at the side of her eye, I'm looking at her cheek, I'm looking at her chin, I'm looking at the other side of the face, I'm looking at the whole thing, and I don't see anything. I don't see anything I don't see a cut, a bruise, swelling, redness. It's just Amber's face that she's going like this and showing me. So I'm not seeing anything. I back up and I'm making a joke. I make a joke going, "Well, I don't see anything, but maybe all the beauty from one side of your face to the other side of the face is outshining everything, so I can't see anything." And she's laughed and she's, smiled. And I just looked at everybody and said, "Hey, it sounds nuts." And I went and I said, "I gotta go." And I gave her a hug and kissed her on that side of the face. And then I left, said goodbye.
What was her reaction when you kissed her on that side of the face?
Nothing.
Did she flinch?
No.
Did you see Ms. Heard again the next day?
Yeah. Yeah.
When was that?
So that's Monday. That was May 22nd, my birthday. So then the next day is Monday, the 23rd. I had woken up with a chest cold, and I heard a knock on the door, and it's Amber. So I opened up the door.
Around what time was that?
That's, I want to say, maybe around noontime, maybe a little bit before. Maybe it could have been a little bit, I think around noontime again. And I went downstairs and I opened up the door.
And when you opened the door, did you have a good view of Ms. Heard?
Absolutely, yeah.
How was the lighting?
Lighting's fine. Lighting from outside, and there's light from my place, yeah, so the lighting was great.
Did you see any marks on Ms. Heard's face at that time?
No, same thing like the day before. There's no redness, there's no swelling, there's no bruises, there's no cuts, there's no nothing. It's Amber, looking like Amber.
Did you notice if she was wearing any makeup at that point?
She didn't look like she was wearing makeup then either.
What did Ms. Heard say to you during that encounter?
She was knocking on my door to see if I would take the house key, her house key, to let the cleaning lady in, because she had to go somewhere. And I woke up that day, and I had some kind of chest cold thing. I was upstairs laying down, and so I looked at her and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm feeling sick. I'm going to be upstairs laying down this entire time for the day or whatever, and that so I can't do it." And then she stood there and is like, "Well, I got to figure out what to do." Like maybe if she was only dependent upon me to give the housekeeper the key. It's the same. The housekeeper cleans both of our places. And so I said, "Hey, listen, why don't you go ahead and take the key and put it in an envelope and bring it downstairs to the concierge, and that's where the key will be, and tell Hilda, who is the housekeeper, that that's where the key is, and that's it, and you're set." And she was like, "Yeah, okay, I guess I could do that." And I'm 3 feet away from her, 2.5, 3 feet away from her, talking with her.
And how long did that conversation last?
3 minutes.
Did you see Ms. Heard again the next day?
Yes, I did.
Where did you see her?
All right. I go down. I'm leaving my apartment on Tuesday to go downstairs to the cafe to go get something hot to drink. I still haven't shopped or did anything for what's a chest cold. And so I wanted something hot to drink. I go downstairs, and as I'm locking my door, that all of a sudden a group of women come up to penthouse 3, because in the corridor on the graph you could see we share the same corridor. So I'm locking my door, and a group of women show up.
Did you recognize who the women were?
3 of them, yeah.
Who were they?
It was, something, I'm unsure if it was 4 or 5 women, but it's